great mayor of Fort Lee.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank
Mayor.
you. Thank you, Josh. First, we'd ask Councilwoman Isla Kosowski to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Isla?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Present with us, we just introduced you to Isla, also Councilman Brian Drumgoole, and of course our Congressman Josh Gottheimer. We wish we were in Fort Lee with better news today, but it's about an issue that hits a lot of households, hits a lot of folks, especially in these inflationary times. The increases in utility prices just passed by the BPU are just absolutely incomprehensible. And we're grateful that we have a congressman that is going to act on it. So without any further delay, we welcome Congressman Josh Gottheimer. Congressman.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything. Thank you all for spending a few minutes today. Mayor, Councilman, Councilwoman, thank you for having us. I love being in Fort Lee, as you know. It's becoming a second home for me. I feel like I should get an apartment here or something. But I really appreciate it. It's upsetting, though, that especially during this holiday season, to hear how increased utility costs are making life more difficult for too many families across the state. I've been in diner after diner lately, and I'll tell you, this is an issue that's coming up time and again of everyone I speak to. And my office, if you look at the calls we've been getting in the last months and the last weeks, the emails we're getting, just person after person after person talking to us about this issue and deeply concerned. Elise from Bergen County, and I won't use people's last names because they write in, and we always tell them we will not use their last names, but I want to tell you what they said. Elise from Bergen County said, I'm writing you because since Suez turned over and is now in control of our bills, bills have now quadrupled in price. Where we used to get billed for under $100 per quarter, we are now being billed monthly and always over $150. This is the topic of discussion all over social media. Our taxation, inflation, and rising utility costs are forcing people out of New Jersey. You need to do something about it. Catherine from Bergen County said, Representative Gottheimer, I'm writing to ask if New Jersey provides any assistance for utilities. I'm 86 years old, a widow, and on a fixed income. I received an end-of-the-year bill from Public Service, gas and electric, for over $600. This bill is for an amount showing I paid less than my usage charge. I'm on a monthly budget plan. This plan is going up $69 a month for the coming year. Help. Nancy from Bergen County. Something must be done to lower PSE&G rates. My bill is tripled. I called many times to be told rates have gone up 27%. Cindy from Bergen County. Again, these are all recent either calls in or letters or emails we've gotten in from constituents. Dear Representative Gottheimer, I live in Upper Saddle River. My house usually runs approximately $275 in the summer. We recently went over $400. To my knowledge, O&R did not send any notifications to overall increases based on what I read on my Facebook mom pages. I personally know I did not receive any notice. I'm curious if your constituents are experiencing such increases, and can you investigate this issue? Madeline from Bergen County. PSE&G sent us a $1,500 bill, and during investigation, we went on a payment plan, but have been told for the last few months there is a balance from prior months. I'm now being threatened to have my gas shut off, and I need assistance. These are the kind of things that I've been hearing about. We have many, many more. Obviously, I don't have time to go through all of them, but this is obviously a huge issue for people when they're facing higher costs overall, especially during the holiday season. Listen, the holidays are a time to spend with loved ones and to share gifts. But yet, just weeks before Christmas, thanks to the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, or the BPU, many families got an early lump of coal in their stockings from their electric and gas providers. Literally, instead of getting a bill that was friendly, someone sent them, and this is literally full of coal. This is what the BPU sent them this year in their utility bills, literally a bag of coal for Christmas, right? We got to do something about this. This is unacceptable. What I want is to have a stocking like this filled with presents, not coal. And literally, if you could see it, I'm not making this up. This is literally the coal they got in their Christmas stockings from the BPU. These are higher utility prices I'm talking about here. This is coal in the stocking, right? So that lump of coal was the rate increase in their utility bills. Last month, with the winter coming, the BPU approved new rate increases on heat usage, meaning that the more than 500,000 Jersey families in Monmouth, Ocean, Morris, Middlesex, and Burlington counties who get their gas from New Jersey Natural Gas will see a nearly 16% increase on their utility bills. 16%. Or an annual bill increase of more than $240 on average. That's a lot of money for folks, right? When they're already paying a lot for everything, for their rent, for their health care, for their groceries, right? For their taxes, you name it. Things have gone up, not down, and we got to help them. You heard me right. In this time of higher costs, the BPU approved a 16% rate increase in the last couple of weeks. 16%. You got to be kidding me. As the mayor said, I think you just said it was ridiculous or outrageous. I don't know what the word you said exactly used, but incomprehensible, right? Incomprehensible, and I think that's exactly right. For the more than 300,000 Elizabethtown Gas Company customers in Union, Middlesex, Sussex, Warren, Hunterdon, Morrison, Mercer counties, including, again, places that I represent, they will see a 6.5% increase, meaning families could pay nearly $100 more annually, just as the cold air is setting in. And this is during a time when many of the families and small businesses in these areas aren't getting the level of power they actually need. We've seen brownouts during the summer months and apartments that can't let people move in and small businesses because they can't actually provide power to them. This is an issue that's happening in a lot of places in the state. They literally can't get the power to these places, and yet they're charging more on utility bills. So it's not as if all of our utility providers in our state are delivering what we need them to deliver right now. Now, keep in mind that this isn't the only recent hit to families on their utility bills. In 2022, the BPU and the state approved rate hikes that cost New Jersey residents hundreds of dollars more for natural gas, as much as $31 per month more, in addition to 25% more for electricity. Yes, that's on top of this latest increase that I'm talking about. Then last year in 2023, PSE&G raised electric bills by 3.3%, JCP&L by 4.8%, Rockland Electric raised it by 6.9%. Again, these are new increases on top of those increases. Earlier this year, PSE&G estimated a 9% increase for electric customers and a 12% increase for customers of both electric and gas. That's an average of $25 per month more. That won't be going to food or diapers, right? That was right before we experienced the second hottest June in our history. We must make Jersey more affordable for our families. Now listen, I'm not unreasonable. I get that certain costs for utility providers have gone up. And I've been a huge fighter of making sure our grid is more secure, more resilient, that we expand our grid. I believe in more capacity. We need it, right? We need to make these investments. I'm a huge supporter of that. That's why I've always supported an all-of-the-above approach to energy, and why I've been such an ardent champion of new alternative energy and carbon capture for natural gas. We need an all-of-the-above solution. We need more power in our state, more energy, right? For towns like Fort Lee, for our businesses here, for make sure we get more data centers and new businesses, that everyone has what they need. That when an apartment complex opens up with new housing, we can actually provide power to them, right? I helped literally write, negotiate, and pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which so far has provided Jersey with a significant investment for our electric grid, climate resiliency, and clean energy technology. And I worked hard to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, which directs nearly $400 billion in federal funding toward clean energy, including $11.4 billion to New Jersey of investment between now and 2030. That's for clean power generation and storage. I fought for that. We got it done. But a 16% increase, right? 16% when people are struggling to pay their bills right now. It's like why we all stand up and fight the congestion tax a few feet from here. You can't whack people with more costs right now. You got to make Jersey more affordable. You got to get costs down, and we got to get our taxes down. New Jersey's household bills are already 32% higher than the national average. Think about that. The average family in New Jersey already pays 32% more for all their bills, like utility bills, than the national average. We got to give hardworking families a break. Come on, we got to. We can't break their bank. We got to give a break to them, especially during the holiday season. They don't deserve coal in their stockings, right? They deserve gifts, lower energy bills, lower childcare costs. We got to make life more affordable for them. So today I'm announcing new action to protect hardworking Jersey families from utility price hikes. My plan to lower utility bills will protect our families from unforeseen costs and keep more money in the pocketbooks of Jersey families. First and foremost, I'm calling on the BTU and utility providers to immediately reconsider their decision to raise utility rates by 16% on families. Please reconsider this immediately. They will receive a letter from me today urging them to reconsider the recent price hikes. We can't allow higher prices right now in our utility bills. Families, as I said, are struggling with higher costs already. We can't ask them to suffer more. Second, as part of my plan to lower utility bills, I'm introducing new federal legislation to help families with their utility bills. That's why this week I'll be introducing the Energy Cost Relief Act, which will provide a refundable tax credit of up to $350 to help offset rising energy costs. That's a credit for families of $350 on their taxes to help pay for these higher utility costs while we're fighting to get them down. This refundable tax credit will put money directly back into the pocketbooks of hardworking Jersey families so they don't have to make the impossible choice between having heat and food on their tables. We've repeatedly seen that for too many, a $100 increase on the utility bill can mean that difference between food or paying for a prescription or putting the heat on. Just the choice they have to make, right? And they shouldn't have to make that choice. This week, I'll also introduce the Know Your Rates Act in Washington, which mirrors legislation from State Senator John Bersacelli. This bill will require utility companies to directly notify customers by phone, email, or text after 10 days into their billing cycle if their energy use goes higher than their normal average, right? They should get an alert. You should know, hey, your energy bills are going higher. Maybe, don't turn that on or think about turning that electricity on. Just focus on keeping your heat on. Don't use other power. They'll then receive another notification after 20 days. I want them to know so they can make decisions. Families can make decisions. They need that information before the bill comes and it's too late. Third, heat pumps are energy efficient ways to save money on year-round heating and cooling, saving between $300 to $650 a year for households. But the cost to get one of these is often too expensive. They run between $7,000 to $15,000 to install, which is why only 5% of homes in Jersey are using heat pumps for heating and cooling. Let's help them with this, right? I'm introducing the Home Energy Assistance Tax Credit, the HEAT Act. This will double the maximum energy efficient home improvement credit allowed for energy efficient upgrades like heat pumps, right, to $4,000 a year from $2,000 a year to help offset these costs. Right now it's capped at $2,000. With the price of gas and heat skyrocketing and the cost of installing a heat pump going way up, this tax credit will help families get heat pumps and lower their monthly costs. Finally, in addition to protecting families financially when they encounter unforeseen cost increases, we must also overall improve our energy independence to prevent price hikes from happening in the first place. That will take more capacity and energy independence, beefing up our grid in New Jersey, getting more in here, because every time we rely on other places, like West Virginia, where, by the way, when we don't have enough here because we're a net importer in New Jersey of energy, and we have got issues and we've got to import more, what happens, and this is just the reality, is we have to buy off the grid from other states. The biggest place we have to buy when we need emergency energy, like during those hot summer months or those really cold days, is we buy off the grid, and a lot of that comes from West Virginia. That's where the surplus energy usually comes from. And by the way, guess what kind of energy they produce? The dirty kind, coal, right? This is where it comes from when you buy from West Virginia, right? So you end up, by not actually adding more capacity here in New Jersey, you end up, and not having an all-the-above approach, you end up needing to buy more of this from West Virginia. And that to me is unacceptable. We want clean stuff coming in, right? Including carbon capture, natural gas, solar, and other alternative energies, which are key. Electricity demand in the U.S. is on track to more than double between now and 2050. I don't know if you all know that. Literally more than double, meaning our available energy sources will become even more important. We will need more supply, or as a net importer here in our state, we will rely on West Virginia and the dirty coal. Data centers built in New Jersey today, by the way, data centers built in New Jersey today demand twice as much power as just a few years ago because of AI. And electric vehicles, by the way, I have one, love electric vehicles, I got a great Ford, are also putting massive demand on the grid, which will require more energy generation. As part of my all-the-above energy plan, I fought to increase and maximize our use of these alternative energies, including solar, and make our homes more efficient, because energy supply will mean lower costs for families. We need a more resilient grid, and carbon capture for natural gas and all of the above approach. You don't have to choose between affordability or sustainability. You can do both. And that's why, as I mentioned, the bipartisan infrastructure bill includes investment to prevent outages and reinforce grids like the one right behind us. Because you want to reinforce grids like this to make sure they can handle major storms, that they're resilient, and beef them up. So that Fort Lee doesn't have to call the mayor, council, families here and say, I need energy. My power's out. I can't get any. The idea is to give them more power and more energy and make sure these places are more resilient. The Inflation Reduction Act makes historic investments in expanding renewable energy, including $30 billion in tax credits to accelerate manufacturing of solar panels, batteries, wind turbines, $10 billion to build clean technology manufacturing facilities to make electric vehicles, wind turbines, and solar, as I said. And we clawed back $35 million in federal assistance for LIHEAP, low-income home energy assistance programs, to help the less fortunate during these cold months. These are all critical steps to make things better. The bottom line, we can't raise utility bills by 16% when folks are already struggling. I have heard the concerns from families and small businesses saying, as you heard, I can't afford my utility bills, I can't afford my rent, I can't afford my health care, child care, please help me do something. So to Jersey families here and around the state who are struggling to pay the utility bills, our fight for affordability is just heating up. I got the best allies with me in the world who get it, and we're gonna fix this, we're gonna address it, when we work together in the greatest country in the world, there is nothing that can stop us from making sure our best days are ahead. Thanks and God bless.